Thanks for coming down, man.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So you just got into LA yesterday?
Yeah, just yesterday, went to Steak 48.
What is that?
It's like a steakhouse. It was real good. It was real good. Had some steak. Then went to bed by like 9:30,
Oh,
which is pretty good.
Nice.
Because it's like it's like 3 hours ahead now in New York, so it's like 11 there.
Did you fly in
Something
from
like
New
that.
York?
Yeah, I flew in from New York. Yeah.
Are you living there now?
I am living there now. Yeah, sort of living there. It's hard to answer that
Yeah.
because it's like, oh yeah, like I'm in New York and I live there, but then I'm also like on the road like
Yeah, exactly.
half the year, so it's like I don't really live anywhere.
Where-
It feels like. But
Where'd you get a
yeah.
spot in New York?
It's just in Williamsburg.
Oh,
Nice
nice.
little, right near the L stop.
Cool.
It's good, man.
Cool.
Yeah,
You grew up in Northern California, right?
yeah, up in El Dorado Hills, near Folsom, Roseville, Sacramento area.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a super small town. I mean, if you switched up schools, through middle school and stuff, you'd all end up kind of at the same high school, and that's really exciting because I moved around a lot when I was growing up, and so I was moving from middle school to middle school to middle school, and so I was making friends all through school, and then ended up all in the same place in high school.
Oh, wow.
And then everyone like grew up and like was different. So like, there was the disbanding of friendships also, and like, such a key time like to grow up and figure out who you are. And so I was just playing music and
Yeah.
trying to write songs about crushes because I wasn't a stud when I was younger. I was like a brace face, like awkward, did not know how to dress myself. I'm still half those things. But yeah, it was cool. Just doing a lot of songwriting when I was growing up, and it was always about crushes.
How'd you first get into music?
My grandparents were a huge influence. But if I go even like further back, like more realistically as well, like my mom gave me her iPod all the time.
Wow.
And she had like She's a Brick House and like, play that funky music and songs like Bleeding Love and all that. My first like true heartbreak song I ever heard was Bleeding Love.
Wow.
And there's like stuff like that. But then going to my grandparents' house too, apart from all the modern music and like, early 2000s music I was introduced to, I was flooded by 50s and 60s and 70s music by my grandpa, who used to collect vinyl like, and still does, like, and has for like the past 30, 40 years. And so he's got boxes in this barn that he has on his property, and I just go and explore the barns and then found the vinyl and brought it back to the main house, and he just he just opened my world to that music.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He has barns. Does he live on a farm or?
Yeah, it's sort of a farm. So he has like grape fields and stuff. Yeah, he used to like grow grapes and make wine. And he still has wine. The wine's real good. It's so good. Last time I was up there, we had a bottle. But he's got 2 barns, and he made one of them into like another living space.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And then the other one is now just full of stuff. It's just full of stuff. So, but pre all that, they were stacked full of just vinyl and old cars and shotguns, like just in the rafters. It was just crazy.
So that really inspired a lot of what you are today as a musician.
Yeah, for sure. I think even more so because it was like all that stuff was pretty old and torn up. And so it started to like force me to imagine what it would look like all fresh and brand new. And like even hearing it for the first time, like, oh, like that must have been how somebody would have felt back then listening to that sound for the first time. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Does your family still live up there?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
My grandparents still live in that same house. Same barn is still there. But my they're all over the place now, it feels like.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
How did you first pick up the guitar?
I just grabbed it and I just held it. Oh, man. There was this girl. I have no idea where she is, but her name is like Isabella.
Yeah, that's
like
a cool
that.
name.
I don't know if you're around. Isabella from Marina Village Middle School. She used to play ukulele and classical guitar so well, and she used to sing too. And it just like drove me mad. It made me so jealous because like when I was growing up, my sister was the one who played music first.
Oh,
She,
wow.
you know, she was the singer. You know, she was doing cheer. She was doing all the performative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of like influences like that, even outside of music, that I was just like, oh, I just want to be in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the most like least like, oh, like me sort of way. Like I really wanted that spotlight though, that like I saw my sister have, and like that girl had, and I was just like, it was more because I just wanted to feel like what I was doing was adding something to the world and people were enjoying, and because I enjoyed that music
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoyed watching it so much that I just wanted to be a part of creating it and creating that reaction, I guess.
Do you see that as a character or an alter ego that you've created, or that where you could change it up on other records, or is that your true self, so to speak?
I think it's just kind of characters at this point, but it's not something that I feel disconnected from, like personally either. Like there are definitely elements of, you know, from the record Angel Face, the Troubadour, you know, and the Evangeline story and Hunter. Like, you know, I found myself longing for somebody. I found myself unable to attain them.
Mm-hmm.
I've found myself heartbroken by somebody. You know, there's so many different pieces of humanity in this record. I think that was really important to me too, is that I didn't want to kind of sequester people from being able to connect with the character's humanity.
Right.
And I think that's important for a lot of records that I think a lot of artists miss out on, is that like you can make a record so personal that it like disconnects people from your
Mm-hmm.
from being able to connect with your story. But when it's a character, you're able to manipulate things to be almost universal in a way.
Right.
Then it's like everyone can feel a part of it. And I think that's what makes me feel like, yeah, these are characters, but they are also me, because they're pieces of me in different contexts instead of just one. Like someone makes a record about heartache and like that's
Right.
it. And someone who might listen to that record might be like, I'm in a happy, healthy relationship, you know, and not be able to connect. So I guess it's just, yeah, it's fun to have like both sides of that coin in one record so that it feels like there's a connectivity between people.
Did you record that in Nashville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it at a studio with Conrad Snyder. He's done incredible records by Nightbeds and Casey Musgraves and Rainbow Kitten Surprise and Noah Khan, and he's just a stud. I love that dude. And we did it with Ian Fitchick, who produced it, and gosh, he's got a lineup of folks he's worked with that I'd spend like an hour.
Give me a few. Like who else has he produced?
Casey's one. You know, he's
Did he produce the new record?
He produced the new record.
That's doing well.
Yeah, that's doing pretty all right. No, he's great. I mean, it's just like exciting that we've gotten to work together for so long, because we worked on the first batch of stuff that was super unrealized at the time, and you know, I didn't really know what I wanted to make when I started out, and I felt like I got kind of lost in what I thought other people wanted me to make. And then, I'm really excited about where things are now. So
that's awesome. So there's 5 new songs on the deluxe version, right?
There's 5, yeah.
So were those songs that you wrote in between, or were they songs that didn't necessarily make it on the first record?
Some of them, it's a bit of all that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because there were some that, you know, came following tours and, you know, pre us recording even songs that were meant for the record. You know, there were songs, like Fame or Fortune was written before we'd even gotten half of Angel Face done, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And we tried to make that one fit at the time, but I think there was a preciousness in really like maintaining the story and then kind of having an extension of that, you know, feels like the rest of the record in a way.
Yeah.
It connects to the rest of the record in a way, but it doesn't have to be a part of the story. You know,
so I've seen you play twice, and your performances live is awesome.
Thank you. Thanks. It's so sweet. Thanks, man.
That was great. The first time I saw you, you played that Grammy Museum, the upstairs thing, and then I saw you at the Wiltern.
Yep. Wow. Thanks for being there, man.
Yeah, of course.
So nice.
You've got some fervent fans out there.
They're wild. They're wild ones out there for sure. They
Yeah.
are wild. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's really cool. Yeah. It feels really sweet that we get to do it at all. That anyone shows up. It's crazy.
Do you make a conscious effort of meeting any of your fans, or?
It just feels just like intrinsic to do so. Like I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, I just want to. Like I'm just like, I want to hang out with you. you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, I think as like time has gone on, I'm really trying to like take care of my brain in it all, because I mean, you can really get like caught up in it, I think, and I have before, even though it hasn't shown. I haven't like been unkind or mistreated a fan or anything like that. But I think it's just more like it is so overwhelming to be put on such a pedestal that it's like there almost has to be like a bit of a boundary there. That's like, all right, like cool, like I will play the show, and then I'm gonna go and like play a video game and like
Right.
rehumanize myself, because it's like, I mean, you get up there and it's like you are put above like a human standard and above like a human level, and so I have a hard time like staying there. And so I think when I'm meeting fans, like, and I get off stage, I immediately feel back to that human thing. But then when someone meets me and it's like it doesn't align with
Right.
that, then I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta put that back on. And then there's like the stress to like be like, hey there, like, and I'm like, I'm not tired and like, don't want to go to bed and like take a shower, like, and but it's also a tremendous blessing to be able to go out and serve and love on people, and that's kind of like the purpose of music, is to serve others and love on them with it and be able to soundtrack their stories. And
Are you a spiritual person?
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Yeah, faith is a really important piece of my life, even more so now than it was before. And have you seen Love and Mercy before?
The Brian Wilson
Yeah, there's this
with
scene.
John Cusack.
Yeah, John Cusack,
of course,
Paul Dano.
I love that movie.
There's a scene where like he's showing his dad God Only Knows, and he like closes his eyes and he's like, oh, if you close your eyes, like you see a picture, and it's like a spiritual thing, and it's kind of like, yeah, I feel like I'm like that in a lot of ways. It's like I'm just like, oh yeah,
Well, a lot of people like feel that they're basically like channels from a bigger source or energy.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to personalize it so much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it just feels like we're a conduit, and like there's like energy passing through, and it like sits there and it takes a part of you and then it goes out into the world, and like it just does the same thing over and over and over. That's how I feel about music. Like I feel like it just comes like and then goes in and then it comes out.
It's a gift.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a spiritual thing for sure.
Yeah.
It really is. It's crazy.
Do you still have the same band as the band that I saw at the Wiltern?
Yep, the boys are still
great.
good.
Yeah.
They're still trucking along. It's good. We're still, gosh, I think I'm like the last 21-year-old in the group now. Yep, everyone's older than me now, officially. I'm the baby all over again.
Crazy.
I'm just consistently the baby. That's what it is. Yeah. One of our buddy Jesse just turned 22 the other day.
Wow.
Love that guy. He's the best.
Who was the other guitarist? What is his name?
It's Brooks.
Brooks, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Like
a
him.
stud. Dude's a shredder. Yeah, a lot of the good Sanchez solos would not exist without Brooks's expertise in that. So,
did you find those guys in Nashville, or are they from LA, or a mix of places?
No, we all met in Nashville. It's funny. Nashville's great, like for community in that way. I moved to Nashville 3 or 4 years ago, and I went to a show that I got invited to, and I met my buddy Connor, who shoots photos for the band and for our tours and everything. He's incredible. And then I met my buddy Watson at that same show that I went to, who plays drums. And then went to another show and met Anson, who plays keys, and then Jesse, who plays bass, and then met my friend Christina, who knows all those guys. And then like it's just like a spider web of different things, and like a domino effect, seriously. And we all met and like made a bunch of friends through that, and yeah, now we're in a band.
That's super cool that
It's
you're
very
with
rad.
the original guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels very movie-esque.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, if we ever get one, that'd be sick. If we're ever cool enough to have like a doc or something, we'll have
you
an
could do
interesting
that.
band story.
Do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elton John.
Oh yeah,
A fan.
big time.
How did that come about? And ultimately, like, result in the Glastonbury performance with him?
Yeah, the full story goes at the start of the year of 2023 was like the boys and I and my craziest year. Like we were pretty in over our heads, I feel like, and we were playing Fallon in January, and then immediately following that, like the week later, we were in Los Angeles, gonna play Lucian Grange's artist showcase that he does in Milk Studios, cool. Which is amazing. And Elton John, Ice Spice, Sabrina Carpenter, Niall Horan, Billie Eilish, like all these artists were there, and all these tables, and God, even saying that is like so stupid.
No, it's interesting.
Like it's so ridiculous. Like we were all. Yeah, we were all there. Shania Twain was playing.
Wow.
Sam Smith and Kim Petras were playing.
Who was at your table?
I wasn't sitting at the table. We were just playing.
You were playing.
Which was great. Yeah,
okay,
so Elton John.
So that's your audience.
Yeah, so Lucian Grange, Elton John, Sabrina Carpenter, they were sitting dead center. And I remember that day, like, I mean, gosh, we were just soaring. Like, we were on cloud nine. Like, we just felt like big time. We're like, oh, we did it. Kind of in a way, like we really did. Like there was like just because the spread in the green room was so nice, we're like, oh, we're like rock stars almost in a way. And I just remember walking out on stage, and I guess he'd said something about me before. He's like, I heard this young man was put on my desk, and we played him, and then I heard him on the radio, and I said this song's gonna be a hit. He was talking about Until I Found You, and it was a hit, and then it was a hit, in all these different countries, and he was talking about that, and he just started speaking so highly of me and said I was the bee's knees. I remember that. He said I'm the bee's knees, and this was all shown to me after someone took a video, and I was like, oh, he like talked about me. That's ridiculous. But we walked down stage and we played, and I don't remember what that was like. I thought I sucked, but apparently I did good because everyone stood up and applauded, which was unbelievable. And then I remember getting off stage and just feeling like the full swing of like we just played in front of all these artists, and like that was too much, and like I don't know if I did well. And then I remember someone came to get me, and they're like, hey, Elton wants to speak to you. And I went over to him, and I sat down at his table, and he looked at me, and he was just like, man, that was dynamite, baby. That was dynamite. I remember him saying that. And then he gave me a little face tap on the cheeks, like, dynamite, He explained to me that he was headlining this festival in Glastonbury called Glastonbury. And he was having guests come out. And I was just like, oh, cool. He's just like sharing like what he's up to, his schedule. It's pretty cool. And he was just like, I would love for you to be one of those guests to come out on stage and sing with me at Glastonbury. Oh, man, I still remember that feeling. Like my heart kind of sank because I was like, he wants me to come and sing at Glastonbury. Don't know what that is. And I remember going home and I remember looking up Glastonbury and like realizing I'd watched that festival without even knowing what it was, like all through high school.
For sure.
Like the biggest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then months went by after that, and he'd call me here and there, and he went, I'd love for you to sing, I guess that's why they call it the blues. And so we stuck to that, and then I kept going on with my life, and then he'd call me randomly, and then we were driving in March to a festival, and he went, I'd love for you to play your song instead. I just feel like it'll be such a moment.
Wow. To
have you play yours. Like you're such a new artist. This is such an incredible song, and we'd love to just be your band. And I was like, wow. Are you sure that you want to do that at all? And then but then we did, and I remember sobbing my eyes out that morning because I was so scared, because I was just like, God, like, who the hell does this guy think I am? Sure, like, I've played some shows before, but we just finished up our first tour ever. Like, I've played only a couple festivals. Like, I think I know what I'm doing, but 90% of the time I'm just, like, kind of flying with the ass of my jeans over my eyes, And it was incredible, and Paul McCartney came over and gave me a hug after, and Kate Hudson kissed me on the cheek for it, and Slash gave me a fist pump, and it was just one of those moments that you just don't ever forget for the rest of your life. And it's even more funny when you meet another artist that knows Elton John too, mm-hmm. and has been championed by him, or like Ed Sheeran just the other week, and I met, and he was like, oh, Elton? I'm like, yep. Man, so do you. Like, weird. But it's it's a weird life, man. But it's
So
cool.
did he sing like harmonies and whatnot with you?
He just played.
He just played,
man. It
wow.
was so rad. And the rehearsal for that was unbelievable too, because Brandon Flowers was a guest at the festival, and me and Nick Preble, my tour manager at the time, we were standing there looking at each other, listening to him play Your Song like 6 times over,
wow.
like 10 feet away with Brandon Flowers singing, and we were just like, this is messed up. This is so insane. Like, we got it. This is crazy. Yeah. But it was cool. It was really cool.
Any thoughts on TikTok?
Oh, man. It's kind of amazing that you can get connected to the world just through the screen of your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I guess it's hard, because I'm finding that it's tough because it's such a... Virality is such a make or break thing for records these days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, radio is incredible and it does an amazing job where it functions well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just, and Spotify playlisting does amazing.
Oh,
where
it's
it does
huge.
amazing,
Yeah.
I just think TikTok's one of those funny things where it's like you don't really get to choose what goes and what doesn't.
Right.
Like, you can believe in a song as much as you want and like think it's the best thing ever. And if people don't surround it, it's kind of like, well, that's gonna disappear into the ether, and then maybe 2 years later it might just blow up.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Like, the Walters were a great example. Like, they released a Songs for Dads EP with I Love You So in 2019, and then it blew up in 2022, 2023 or something like that, and now it's got like 1 billion streams, where it had like 1 million streams when it came out.
It's crazy.
It's nuts, man. I mean, even Until I Found You is such a testament. Like, I think it hit like 3 million streams in the first 4 months that it was out, and then it just
what is it at
took
now?
off. I mean, it's at 1 billion streams now on Spotify. 1.11 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And so, but again, like, and we've even had like some success with songs like High, 100 million streams on that. It's pretty damn good, but it's also like, you can't, gauge what's going to do what at the level at which it's going to do. If sometimes it feels like destiny and sometimes it feels like chance. Like, I was just thinking about it in the car ride over, like, I can't even fathom or imagine like another song getting to 1 billion streams on Spotify alone. Like, not because of a disbelief in myself, but just because it's kind of like the first time it happened, it's like a, oh shit, like that wasn't supposed to happen kind of thing. And then if it happens twice, it's like, oh, it still feels that way, So there's no time when you're like, oh yeah, this should happen like that.
I think you'll have it again.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. But TikTok's such a huge factor in that again.
Yeah.
And like, I just think it's interesting because you just never really know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, because there's more of a visual going on TikTok, right?
Yeah, and it's just interesting. I mean, what do you think?
I don't know. It's. I look at it. I'm a TikTok follower, but I've never posted anything. Yeah. We've posted it for the brand, magazine and whatnot. But I'm interested in it. It's crazy that half the country's on it. Yeah. And there's so much political debate about whether we should have it in the U.S. or not.
Do you think it increases the drive for people to fall in love with music, or do you think it takes away from it?
That's a great question. Yeah. That's a great question.
Because it's so like regurgitated over and over. You hear the same song over and over. And I wonder if that's like something that encourages like, oh, I love this song. And like, I'm hearing it in like a spiritual, beautiful way. Or if it like makes me like, I don't ever want to hear that song again. Because like, I was just thinking about how like, I just listened to this song called You've Lost That Loving Feeling by Nancy and Lee.
Of course, yeah.
And the first time...
Did you ever see Top Gun?
Dude, no. I've never seen Top Gun. Gotta see that. That's not for a lack of like...
See both of them.
Exposure. Yeah. It's just I just never watched it. Yeah. And I listened to that song on the cassette for the first time. Like, I went to Amoeba. I bought the cassette. I didn't know what it was. It just looked beautiful. She looked beautiful. I wanted to listen to it. That is like a spiritual moment right there to like, you discovered something new. and like you're hearing it in such a organic way.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wonder if like the value of music is taken away because it's so overexposed, you know?
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you brought that up, but it's not too dissimilar to what radio's been like 10, 15, 20 years ago,
Sure,
where you just constantly hear the same old songs.
for
You know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah,
Like, even a station like, a modern rock station
yeah,
here in LA would play like things that mostly are 10, 15 years old,
yeah, yeah,
and they let so little new music discovery happening.
for sure. I guess the difference is maybe like radio did such a justice in playing the whole song at least.
That's a great
You
point.
know? So it's
That's
like,
a great point.
you know, you
yeah.
hear just the verse and then and this is also a bummer too.
Yeah.
I've noticed like sometimes the chorus is killer and the
Yeah.
verses are garbage on songs that I hear on TikTok, or like there's one section that's played that's so cool. I'm like, oh, I love that part. I love this part of the song, and then the rest of the song is like lacking
Yeah.
in that one area that's really good. Yeah, it's interesting, man. I don't know. And maybe people feel that way about Until I Found You even too. Like maybe they heard the chorus like this is a great chorus for a song. Maybe they hate the rest of it. But I don't know though. 1 billion streams is kind of
That's pretty
countering that.
impactful.
Yeah. It's a good song. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
So have you started writing like material for your follow-up record, or?
I'm kind of just in an explorative period right now. I think there's a part of me that wants to make almost like a motion picture soundtrack record. That's what I'm like a quote, not like a legit like motion picture soundtrack record, but just something that has a different sound. Every song is just a different sound. Like there are elements of me that want to stay in the 60s sound, but then there's also parts of me that want to really shift gears and change it up, and some of that's a little intimidating for me.
Right.
But I don't really know. I just want to make something that feels good. Like I just want to, if I have the same feeling that I had when I made Angel Face, which was just this like, I don't really know where this is going, but like, I kind of like the ride. I'm just going to like enjoy the ride. I think if I had that feeling, I think I'm in the right space. But I think if I start to think about it too much, and start to really analyze what I'm doing, I think I'll ruin it. So
I mean, have you like experimented like with your voice with synths, for example?
That's something that is really interesting you bring that up, because I've been really inspired by Little Dark Age record by MGMT. And they've got this track on it called Hand It Over, and there's like synths and like just stacked.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just perfect. And I mean, even Didja, End of Beginning, End of Beginnings, I think that's the song. And but he's got that, it's like that alt rock like synth indie vibe that's cool, and I love that. And like I'm sure there's room for some Sanchez records to sound like that, but then there's room for it to sound like Nancy and Lee too. And like then there's room for it to sound like,
I mean, you've got it down. You've got it down, and it seems like I don't know any other modern male artists that are doing something similar to that.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. It's really, really
I mean,
nice.
are there?
I don't know. I mean, if they're out there, like, God, I hope they raise their hand, because we need more stuff like that, I feel like.
I remember when we were doing the photo shoot with you, and I asked you if you'd seen Baz Luhrmann's Elvis movie.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, I've seen it like 12 times or something.
Yep. That number keeps just like exploding. It's just so fun to watch. Like, it's not even like, it's just like, I love the artistic like edits and directing of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cool. That now it's like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, Elvis, like, holy smokes. And then it was like, this is just a great movie to watch.
Yeah.
When I'm just chilling. It's like my comfort movie now sometimes.
Do you enjoy making music videos?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, because it's like little movies.
Yeah.
We especially did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that. Like when you're describing how the songs are on this specific record and another specific record that you'd like to do, almost like a movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm caught in this like, I'm caught in between like ideas for, next record stuff, and And part of me wants to make like just a big movie that's like has syncs that's like attached to like the record, like a movie attached to the record, so it's like a visual album, which would be so much fun to make.
And do you want to score a movie that some other actors are in, or do you want to be the star of that movie?
I think I want to be like, I just want to look at records like as almost a director and a screenwriter in a way, where it's like I am my own character in my own movie.
Yeah.
And like there are characters that are in that, but it's like telling the story of my life through the lens of like fictitious characters. So it doesn't feel like I'm overexposed either, because I get very like nervous about that too in the exposure, because like I do want to like be honest and true and like tell the stories of my life, but I don't want to be like the focus, because I feel like the story matters more than like,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're almost like building these characters that would be in a visual medium like film into your sonic like deliverance,
because then people can care about them for different reasons. Like people like the Troubadour for a different reason, or they connect with Evangeline for a different reason, or even Hunter. And like I'd love for, if I'm just like the same the whole time but making different music, then I guess there's less deep of a connection, I feel like.
Right.
Just to me personally. That doesn't mean that's how other people feel about it, but yeah, if it's a different character, then people can go back to those characters and like still feel that connection.
Yeah.
You know? I don't
So
know.
would you write the screenplay? Would you work with somebody to write the screenplay?
Totally. Yeah, I've been writing something. Again, yeah, everything's up in the air creatively for like what the next thing is. But yeah, there's something in the works, and I think it's pretty sweet. But I just don't know what to do with it.
And are you working on it in New York or in Nashville or just
in New York at the moment? Yeah.
Yeah. That gives you a place to come from.
Yeah.
New York is going to be different than a record that you made in Nashville, right?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be good to try and make it somewhere else. But Nashville's such a special place, so it's hard for me to get away from there.
Yeah.
There's a magic in the air.
Then I've got a lot of friends that have moved to Nashville from here.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I haven't been back out there in a long time.
Oh,
I want to go.
It's still good out there. Yeah. It's a good spot.
So I saw where you're playing Summer Sonic this summer.
Oh yeah.
Have you been to Japan before?
I was in Japan for a layover from Australia. It's pretty sweet. They serve ramen on the plane,
right?
Which is freaking rad. That is a rad thing. No, we're gonna go back and shit. It's gonna be so sick.
Are you gonna spend any time in Tokyo?
Yeah, I think
you should.
So. We're gonna try and stick around a little bit. It's kind of in the middle of our lineup of other shows,
right?
So it's hard to like. It's gonna be hard to like find time, but we're gonna enjoy it while we can, and then come back. It'll be easy.
Yeah. When I was looking at stuff that you'd done before, I looked on YouTube and I saw this morning show in Australia that you did interview with, and it looked like you did it twice.
Yeah.
What was that wild? Just like being on a morning show, like with a bunch of different people, like asking questions.
In Australia, yeah, for sure. I love Australia so much. I love all the people there. I love the vibe there. I love the surf. Shaka bra. It's so good.
Have you been to Melbourne and Sydney?
Yeah, I've been to both.
Not that there's not other places there.
No, I've spent tons of time on the Gold Coast and, in Sydney and Melbourne and Perth. That's great. It's just the best spot. Yeah. And the people there are sweet.
I've just been to Sydney a couple times.
Isn't it awesome?
But I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just there for like 3 months. It was awesome.
You stayed there for 3 months?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
You got to do it sometime. It is, that's an eye-opening life vibes.
Like, where'd you stay? Did you stay in Sydney? I
stayed in Manly. Lived in Manly with Georgie and Matt. Love y'all. Thank you so much for letting me stay in the granny flat. Yeah, and then I just surfed every morning and just like...
That's awesome.
Had breakfast and... Yeah.
Did you go to Bondi?
Went to Bondi a few times. Yeah.
Did you ever go to Icebergs?
Oh, no, I still haven't been to Icebergs. Yeah, that's right
cool.
there.
Yeah.
It's good. I hear good seafood is there.
Yeah, but it's just the view from that spot. just like some of the best real estate in the
It's
world.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
So, are you going back to Europe as well on this tour?
We will be going back to Europe. We're still figuring out, tour stuff, and yeah, we're hoping to be back in Europe. Hopefully at the start of next year,
Mm-hmm.
which would be great because we'll be obviously touring the States at the end of the year, and we'll need a break for a second before we get back out again. But yeah, we'll see our Europeans again.
Where are you going to play in LA this time?
We're gonna play at YouTube
YouTube Theater?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to keep track of the names of all these places, but it'll be sweet. Yeah,
That's cool. Do you like Atlanta?
I do like Atlanta. Yeah, that's a good vibe.
Yeah.
Playing at the Coca-Cola Roxy there.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That
I think
makes
that's
sense.
right. Is that where we're playing? Yeah.
I guess we covered this a little bit, but beyond music, are there other creative outlets that you like to explore?
I like to draw.
Really?
I used to draw before I played music, and I just draw cartoons. So drawing's been really fun. I'm trying to do more of that again because I feel like it's a bit of a bummer. I just stopped doing it once I started playing music because I was like, I'm just so silly. Like when I was growing up, I play guitar and you'd get a girl's attention. It's like yes, but if I drew them and then I showed them, they're like, that doesn't look like me. I look horrible. And it's like they hate me. And I'm like, oh my god, this is I'm done doing that. Yeah, surfing. Seriously.
Surfing,
Oh
yeah.
man, it's not creative.
It is.
But,
in a
the
way,
way that I fall is different each time, so I guess it's creative in a way. But
how long have you been surfing?
I've been surfing just over the last several months. It's just it's been very new. It was a very new thing, but I think I'm pretty good. I got a wetsuit, which is
amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
Gonna go to Rockaway Beach and surf when I'm not.
That's
in
cold,
New York again.
man.
It'll be good. I'll have a wetsuit. It'll be all right. Yeah.
I grew up in Florida surfing, but I've never been into the cold water surfing with a wetsuit.
Oh, dude, it's great. It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to do it. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite city in Paris? I mean, in Paris. That's in Europe.
Ooh, Amsterdam was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
My mom came out for our Europe tour,
Mm-hmm.
this last one, and we walked around Amsterdam, and it was so sweet.
It's cool.
It's a great vibe.
People don't realize the canals and houseboats and all that sort of vibe there.
It's just cool,
Yeah.
man. Just great vibe, great energy there. Belgium was pretty sweet too.
I've never been to Belgium.
Oh man,
I know,
it's
it's
just
cool.
so rad there. You got to go.
Like Antwerp and
Yeah, or Brussels.
Brussels.
Brussels. You know what? If I really had to choose, if I had to live somewhere, if someone was
Mhm.
you have to live in Europe in this city, I'd probably stay in Zurich.
Yeah.
Just stay there. Zurich.
I've never
awesome.
really experienced it outside of the airport.
Dude, you gotta go. It is
Very clean, right?
yeah, it's just beautiful. The food's fresh. It just feels good there.
Do you
It's
like
good.
London?
I like London a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
London's a vibe of its own. It's so rad, and I got friends there.
Yeah.
Actually, Evangeline is played by Frances O'Sullivan, who is in the UK, and so
Yeah.
it's fun to see her whenever I get out that way. She's so awesome. You know Dishoom?
Dishoom?
You been to Dishoom?
No, where's
In
that?
London?
No.
Oh, please.
What
dude.
is it? What is it?
Listen, it is quite literally the greatest Indian breakfast place of all time.
What part of town?
It's in King's Cross area.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's a couple different locations, but you got to get you some Dishoom. It is damn good.
I'll have to check it out next
It's a
time I'm
dream.
there.
Seriously, I won't overstate it. And I'm a big foodie, so you got to go. It's so good.
Yeah. Are you a big foodie?
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, you got the Infatuation app. You know about that?
No.
Oh my gosh, I'm about to open your world, man. So this app is it was started by these two guys in New York, and they pretty much just go and they rate all the best restaurants in each major city, and in London and in New York.
Different than an eater kind of thing.
Yeah, way different. They do a full review and they almost poetically write about this restaurant and why it's so good.
Wow.
And they and you can check it out on the map and everything on this app, and it's just
it's like the chef's table of apps.
yes.
Is that what it is?
It's real good. Yeah. And No, you got to get on that, man. It's
Okay,
good stuff.
I'll download it when we leave here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do enjoy traveling.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I just don't feel like I land anywhere really. So it's kind of hard for me to stop
Right.
when I do stop. I kind of get like a little depressed even. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, what do I do? What is my life? It becomes very existential when I'm not moving, because then I'm like, I am a failure because I'm not. Like, it's kind of really,
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
it's different, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. You're like a civilian and
Yeah, but that
doing
feels
normal
good.
things,
I always feel like a normal dude. I don't
Yeah.
ever feel like a celebrity or anything
Right.
like that. Like, that's just not even in the vocab in my brain. But yeah, it's just still hard for me to kind of like slow down and like feel like I'm able to connect where I'm at. 'Cause
Right.
I'm just kind of like waiting to go. So I'm always in anticipation to leave. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Where do you feel the most at home? Would it be Northern California, Nashville, or New York right now?
Probably my apartment in New York feels like home the most right now.
Did you fix it up?
I fixed it up. It's
It's
lovely.
not like empty with a futon.
It's not
on it?
empty. No. Thank God. I got a roommate. It's my bass
Yeah.
player. Jesse's my roommate, and yeah. So it's all put together. Everything's in sections. It's
Oh,
just
nice.
so nice. You know, we play video games together.
It's so weird to hear you talk about video games
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think of you as this transplant from the 60s for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. No, it's funny. Like literally the last tour, we'd play the show and I'd just come off like borderline and asthmatic, like just, and then I'd run onto the bus, take a shower, and then we'd just be in the back, like playing Dead Space, which is
Yeah.
like an alien video game about this ship called the Ishimura that gets overrun by these like, cell manipulating aliens that like can change your body to become these like crazy monsters.
Sounds cool.
So I was just like blasting them on the screen while there's like fans like, Steven, like banging on the bus. I'm like, I'm playing video games. So
Cool.
it's funny. That was really funny.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Man, we got to work with the Beach Boys, which was pretty rad.
Oh, I saw that,
Which is
dude.
crazy.
Tell me about that.
We just did a song for their documentary that they just put out, and like they've had documentaries before and stuff, but
Yeah.
I think they really like told some stuff more in depth with this that other things didn't get the chance to really make fans and like just audience who were getting to know the Beach Boys aware of,
Right.
which was cool. And I think it's also like a huge testament to like their long-standing career to like also be artists that champion other artists to be a part of their history.
Yeah.
And so we wrote Baby Blue Bathing Suit with Dan Nigro, who's like one of
Yeah, I know.
the best
Yeah.
producers
Cool.
of our time right now, and Amy Allen, one of the best songwriters of our time right now, and we all got to work together, and that was really cool. And gosh, it was just crazy. I mean, all the Beach Boys were at this premiere, like in one place.
Did you meet Brian Wilson?
I saw Brian Wilson, watching Brian Wilson from afar, and like that was very cool.
Yeah.
But they're all just dudes.
Yeah.
They're all just dudes, and that's cool. It's real cool, and I just feel like I have such a deep appreciation for them now.
Sure.
I feel like that's been the coolest part of this whole thing, really. Like every artist I've gotten to meet on a personal level I feel like I like really feel this like deep emotional connection to their music more than just how the music makes me feel,
Sure.
but like because of the people they are. And that was really cool, man. It was real cool, and yeah, and like we got to record a music video for that song in Australia when I was there.
That's awesome.
North Curl Beach, so like the beachiest beachy spot ever. It was really sweet, man. They're a good bunch. So
It's a Disney project, right?
it's this Disney
It's
project.
like their version of the Beatles docu-series sort of thing.
Yeah. Which is funny because like I guess the Beatles and them had like a huge like they were just like battling it out all the time, like on the charts and like look wise
totally.
and like
Yeah.
album wise.
Did you see the Beatles documentary?
No.
Series?
I still got to get after some stuff.
That is
I've
like
just-
ridiculous.
Is it really?
It's really good, yeah.
I gotta appreciate that. My buddy Jesse loves the Beatles, and And I feel like when we try and talk about it, I don't have the depth of understanding. So maybe I need to like get acclimated with some Beagle stuff.
I mean, it's just incredible to see like them coming up with these songs like off the top of their head. Like, Let It Be, or Long and Winding Road and stuff like that. It's like
you remember the scene where he's writing Get Back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah. It's just like, but he's literally just like messing around. Yeah, and like he just wrote like a smash. Yeah, it's so crazy. But that's funny. That kind of happens like that, like all the time too. Like it's just kind of maybe not as much anymore, but I feel like some folks just like kind of just like playing and then it just accidentally comes out.
Yeah. Have you learned a lot about some of these classic guys that you admire, like Roy Orbison and that sort of thing?
Yeah, that dude is my hero. Seriously, that guy is like, he's so inspiring to me because he just had such a heartbreaking life, and like his music reflected that, but he still like maintained like who he was. Yeah, and like the music that he wrote, like the integrity of it all was still like precious to him, and even after the loss of his wife and his two sons, and like.
His voice is just so cool and so unique.
Dude. It's like... Yeah. I got a tattoo of him on my arm.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool. Does he have dark glasses on him?
He's got the dark glasses on and everything. Yeah. That guy, man. I actually was just watching him play on this show back in like 72 on YouTube. I was like eating breakfast just like watching him sing. Yeah, he's just one of those... He inspired so much of the new record and a lot of the ways that some of the phrasings were sang and stuff. And he's just big time, man. I wish more people knew about him because I feel like he needs like a movie for sure. Yeah. Like he needs like a life biopic and a movie. And he's so cool.
There you go. You could play him.
There you go. Yeah. Holy cow. I got to be way cooler looking in sunglasses if I'm going to play him. Yeah.
Well, I think we got a great show here.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for having me again. It's really exciting.
Thanks for coming down.
And congrats on the new podcast. This is so sick.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Hell yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks. Cool.